i.e., the magician, here on the Mantra Dad podcast. Thank you so much for joining me from Chicago, Illinois. I
Yeah.
haven't caught up with you in quite some time, so I'm sure you're up to some wonderful magician tricks as well as rap battles, virtual and personal. And
Yep.
you've traveled the world in the last few years, being yourself and somehow getting by and thriving as just this creative, influential, just very intriguing gentleman I know as Ethan Crane, i.e., the magician. Welcome to the
Well,
Mantra Dad podcast, my friend.
I appreciate you for having me. Glad to catch up with you anytime, and this is a great format. I think you've been wanting to do podcast style things for a long time. I know, just sharing the experience and strength and ideas and thoughts with and so it's cool. I'm excited.
Nice.
And you look good. It's good to I like
Thank you.
the house that I assume you did the walls and things, or the painting or something behind you.
This is a special from Ross. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. But
Nice.
it's a cactus, which is somehow both masculine and feminine, in my opinion. So it's kind of a unity painting, I think I would say.
Nice. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I think so too. Adds to the whole flav of the oneness of all things and everything. I'm sure you can relate. Have you felt some unity in your life, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, it's been this is this last year has been one of the most difficult ones of my life, or at least of my adult life. And it it I think in all the times that are really difficult, you see people come together in ways that they might not have done if they didn't have that stress kind of pushing everyone to sort of recognize that, there's a human here that might need help, or uh maybe not even need help but could benefit from our time and energy and actions. So I've definitely been witnessing a lot of that uh lately. I uh i worked a late shift in down in Florida. I showed up, right? I went down and flew there. My flight was delayed. I didn't get in till like 3:30 or something like that. And so I ended up just staying awake the whole night, because by the time I got to where I was going, it was maybe 5 in the morning, and we had to be up for like 6:30 anyway. So I just stayed awake all night and then went to work at 3 p.m. and worked a 12-hour shift as a bar back. Um, and I was exhausted by the end of it. And at the end, I found myself my phone was dead, like, and I thought I was in trouble. It was like 3 in the morning, right? And I was just in Florida, right? And I had some cash in my pocket from working all day and the tip share and everything. But I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I didn't know any of the people that were left working really. I'd worked with them for the day, but it was mainly just like a couple managers closing down, and somebody just that came back. They knew that I hadn't left yet because I couldn't contact my ride or do anything. So they came back and called an Uber for me, and I gave them the cash. But I was trying to do it on my laptop. I thought I could log in to call an Uber through my laptop. That was my plan, but the plan didn't work because they kept trying to send a code to my phone. So if not for that, his name was Orlando. If not for Orlando coming back and being like, "Hey, you sure you're good, bro?" I would have probably just been out after having not slept the night before. I would have been out without having a ride or a way to get where I had to go, and it would have been 3 in the morning. Hard to get help at that time. And so I appreciated the unity from that. Just my coworker that I'd met that day that just took it upon himself to recognize as he was leaving, oh, that kid was, trying to do it through his phone or through his computer, and I don't really trust that he's actually going to get where he's going. So he came back and verified and made sure that I was good.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a typical night in your life. I would say that seems to be quite a historical scenario there that seems to be replaying in one shape or form. Just you giving your
Yeah,
entire
no
being
phone.
to every moment, never having your batteries super charged up, relying on other people to kind of help you, and somehow it's just perfectly worked out for you. And what's your secret? Is there some sort of trust involved? Is there just, hey, I'm just being me and this is just all the way it works out? Or how do you explain the way kind of you live your life?
I think that in the end, I mean, until the day we die, it all works out, right? Whatever it takes, the day resolves into night, and then we go to sleep, or we try to, and then we wake up the next day and it starts over. So it's about perspective, right? The night worked out for me because I consider that a success. Like, even though I had to pay $75 for an Uber instead of getting my friend to give me a ride, which they would have done if I had just been able to send them a text, but I didn't have their number or access to it, right? So even though that did cost me money in that sense. Um, it still was a win for me because I like had that experience. But I feel like I could also have looked at it as I was stressed, I was tired. I just got my second vaccine shot that same morning. So in addition to not having slept and working a 12-hour shift and flying from Chicago, and I was on my second night of this, I also had gotten the shot that day, the second one. So my arm was literally like dead as I'm carrying the bags of ice around. So like I could have looked at that and seen a lot of negatives to it. You know, I was exhausted by the end of the night and all that, but I made some good money, right? I mean, I made really good money that day, and it was worth being exhausted for. And I made a good friend in Orlando. We ended up hanging out the following nights, probably due in part to the fact that he looked out for me. On the last night in town, I hung out with him and we had a blast. You know, we stayed. The Mayweather Logan Paul fight was happening, and it was just a fun time. And that might not have happened if I hadn't gone through the stress of the Friday night where I was exhausted. So, you know, but then on Sunday night we really got to come back and kill it and have a good time.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
there's a perfect example of there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Any way you look at it, the next day
Yeah.
brings new life for sure. And you've always just been one to really flow really well with the currents of life and just kind of go with what's there and see it and make a decision and be helped by just countless people over your lifetime, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to accept, I feel like when people are working, they want to do their job, right? However they see their job, you know, and it may not be their employer's idea of what their job is, but whatever they see their job as being, they want to do that. And then outside of work, people want to be the humans that they feel like being. And if you give someone a chance to be the human that they want to be, and maybe um, offer assistance, or just sit down and hang out and have a conversation or whatever, if you give them the opportunity to do that in a light that you know is presents it to them in a way that is favorable and comfortable and fair, and they don't feel like they're being taken advantage of in any way, then I think you can really learn a lot about people, and it's nice.
Nice. And over
you
the
know
course of the last few years of your life, you've traveled around America on a dinosaur tour and on a magical tour, on a giving to needy children in certain ways. Like you found a way to give back. Just your life seems like an endless give back to the people that whose lives you touch through magic and rapping. Would you say what do you feel like your impact is on some of the people you've come in contact with over your rack on tour career?
Well, it's magic with a message and rap with the reason, right? You gotta just do what you're supposed to be doing in the world. And for me, it's like you just you conducting the symphony of your life every day. You know, you even I can't play a lot of the instruments that make a symphony sound nice, but in the symphony of my life, I get to be the conductor of all the different elements and instruments that are out there. And so for me, magic is a huge instrument. It's rapping is a huge instrument, and then friendships and relationships. I have a lot of those with other people who have their own influences and instruments that they put in, into the world that I am lucky enough to live in. So I just yeah, I've been blessed, I think, to travel around with the right circle of people that are doing the right things, whether it was you, Adam, one of them, my I've been doing as much as like the interaction element that I have possible within me, and I've been around people who just have that drive themselves to really push forward and do, follow their mission. I met a family in California when I went down there for an Eminem concert with my buddy Nate and China and Josie. We went to the Magic Castle and we went to go see Eminem, but I flew in a day early for some stupid reason. The day before we had everything booked, and just to make sure I was there early, and I wanted to go to LA. And I met a family that was they were waiting in the airport for somebody that was part of their church community and family, and he was coming back from his mission trip. They were all from their Tongan, from the island of Tonga, and I got to take part in their cultural celebration just because I was walking by. They're playing a game on their phone, and you're supposed to say the word on the phone, and you're not looking at it. It's like a charade type thing, and the word was magic, and one of the people's names was Magic in the group. And so I walked by and saw that, and I got the chance to do magic with them, and then stayed with them. They happened to know, their friend was the manager of a hostel down the street, so I got to stay at a hostel for half price that night. And I hung out with them till 2 a.m. They partied. I ate food I would never have eaten otherwise in my life. They did some awesome dancing, routines and things. It was just cool to be a part of, and it was just because I decided to leave a day early, before everything was planned, and just have that day to myself and be all right, I'm gonna get to LA and just sort of check the lay of the land before all my friends get here, make sure I have a rental car already ready for when they get here.
Nice.
And so that was dope.
Good for you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you live such a kind of a unique existence thus far. And how old are you now?
31.
Oh wow, so you're
I'm
past your
a, I'm a
kids.
90s baby.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
1990.
impressive. It's impressive that no matter what path that a person chooses, they're always just going to be taken care of by life. One way, shape, or form. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's trust in the flow of things, but it's also being willing to work at it a lot. I've done this last year, my hands hurt so much. I've done so much construction style carpentry, digging holes, things that I've always done my whole life as a side job to make sure I could get by. But this year, that was mainly what the work was, up until now the bars and events are opening back up and I can go back to my regularly scheduled programming. But you got to be willing to really go with the flow, but make sure that you're a strong swimmer. If that makes sense, because
Yeah, man.
it's easy to drown out in these streets.
You've always demonstrated your hard work ethic as well, and you put good solid hours in. You're very personable, very charismatic. You've done trade shows and conventions and shows, and you kind of
Yeah.
bootstrapped your creativity into
Yeah.
some sort of career path, and it's really like the most you that you could really make it. Now,
The most me I could be,
it's the most me,
right?
i.e., can be. You know that he sees so
That's it.
clearly that unique flow of the universal currents. Don't you know that he is undercurrents of events, possibilities, and opportunities coming through the speakeasies and the bars and the restaurants? You know that he is flaunting all his creativity out there, and you know he's getting paid every time he's pounding nails. You know that he is, i.e., coming in to wax the floors so you can dance in your flows. You know that he knows the universal currents in his best knowing is showing up for him every time he trusts and begins a new lesson plan. The earth, it's a school, and he's the master principal, conducting it like an orchestral, and he's playing the flutes, clarinets, drums in the back, giving the boost and the bass. Back to the face, i.e., coming in with the dreadlocks, and he's growing roots in Chicago, maybe knocking out like Logan Paul. Oh no, it's the Mayweather, son. And you know he's boxing all 12 rounds, going 15 strong. He's in the bar back, spilling up the gin and tonics, but he is in AA too, getting back to what is true, i.e., the one showing me that the references are the words, and it is fun to be unique in your own reality. And you're in the speakeasy and the bars and the nightclubs making magic for all the magicians in the world. You're a magi, spilling the alchemy into the sky, and it's dusting down in the truth, and his life is the proof that he's coming back with Adam, first man, to the garden. And you know that he's creating new existences in universities like it is a front man for Queen. I'm Freddie, but I'm not gay. Got a wife and a Grace and one on the way. Did I tell you? I'm a
Hey.
daddy, number two. And here it is, the IE magician that is coming through, trapped in a Zoom with me in a play date I call universality, eternal one, the proof that the human is the masculine and the feminine in unity, coming from the atom. That's me, Adam, coming back with the great man, calling IE magician. Welcome to the Mantra Dad podcast, my friend.
Welcome to the podcast at last. This is like the light that God cast that fast. And I'm here with Mr. AM telling you to say when they should wake up in the morning, and we regret the sin, but you can't wake up morning every morning. You got to keep going forward, and you're storming in the Zoom call, and it's a zoo I call home out in the wild, like me when I smile right to the camera. And y'all gonna set the standard to just keep rapping. He's tapping his tempo like a deep thought, and we rock like sheetrock when you got to build a home. Plus, if the builder's home, you know that we got to go back to the construction. Never rapped about gun busting, but I'm the one trusting in myself to get by in these streets. And if I can go and eat, buy a piece of damn pizza at the end of the night, and that's cool, I'm still friends. Like, I'll make friends with a mic. That's my pop, so shout out to him. Angels in the sky. Plus, it's dangerous when you can't get this high. You might fall with the wings made of wax like Icarus, son. Plus, I can't do this. I'm getting it done. And I gotta shout out the next event like it's too current. I be electric and live, not at a festival. I vibe, but I'm shouting out to the circus of life. Then I just murk this mic. It's words that this wordsmith just spikes like Gronkowski with a football after the TD. Plus, Casper can't see me. I'm too much of a ghost, close to clear. Fuck it, most just appear, but they're not what they seem to be. Ethan is like a lame, I meant to say a lane that is lane for me, but I have been slain, you see, by slipping on my own words, slurred, and I've cursed myself out like God does, like I'm taking my name in vain. Plus, lately, the way that we paint is like this cat. It's just a cactus, prickly on the outside, but inside there's the life juice giving you the chance to keep going on if you might use it as a survival tool. Plus, I can rule my own life and castle like Lincoln Hyrule Castle. Never been an asshole, but I can react prickly, of course, if you tempt me or push me the wrong way. The song plays all day and I'm passing it back like when I was a kid playing ball in the hallway. My mom said to stop, but I wouldn't do it, couldn't screw it, so I kept going off lefty loose. I meant to say I was left loose when I left the Grey Goose back at the counter, stopped drinking, went straight to AA, but now I go out to play. I'm back at the bar back and get it. I never stop slacking.
Never
Time.
stop slacking and don't give me the flack. Just show up in the life that you know is black and white, but it's got colors too, infinite ones. Coming in like I'm a strum of a guitar, song and the word coming from afar, but coming from here inside of me. So dear, the precious nature of the heart zone. Flowing with this one on the phone, although it's a mic this time. This is the most powerful one. You see, the words coming through this man and this guy too add value, and it's clearly seeing that this man is believing in the magic that is flowing from him and to him, from the universal knowing. You know, he's downloading like Akasha. He's got all the library mechanisms, and he is like Sasha, but his name is Ethan. You know, he's like Mad TV, all on the screen that's here, trapped in a Zoom with my friend on a natural setting. Yeah, although I got a cactus in back of me and he said he's prickly, i.e., coming free this time on the podcast. You know, he's passing the mics all around. This is a Zoom forecast, forecasting his destiny, and he's inside of me. You see, I'm so big, I'm like Zeus. I put all the gods and goddesses, and it's in me, and I poop out the cosmos because that's what the crystalline sphere. You know, we building up dear ones with the rocks, magic ones. Yeah, and it is so fun to make a balloon animal, make a kid feel so much joy. And maybe I'm having a boy, don't know. Could be a girl too. Doesn't matter. I'm the one that you want to be a daddy to. You know, you see, that is the proof of life. Is the one when you can merit and marry a wife and make babies here and coming back. You know, the ayahuasca told me maybe you are the one, Jack, the best one. You see, to make the babies, fathering up new homies in infinity. Oh my God, it's like a time and space illusion, and it's a fusion. It's a battery coming from Mr. Musk, and it doesn't need lithium. You see, I trust the cosmic dust coming back as me, and from the ashes I rise like a phoenix.
I be rising and falling like the stock exchange, and the money keeps calling, but I'm too tired to answer. Instead, I just go off higher than Dancer when he's pulling the sleigh, carrying presents, and there is nary a pestilence that I don't mind overcoming in life, whether it's an annoying ex-wife or maybe a hated stepmom. We've all got problems that have got our life going on and on. We got to stop. Our faces get drawn like a horseback carriage. Sometimes cats just stare at the things that don't merit their attention. They're wasted. The lesson is being taught like it's too tight. Who's right? I don't really know or care. But if you're hoping to go over there, then you better start trekking. Don't sit and wait. Kids giving fate the old, listen, hey, if God wants it, then it'll come to me. I say, well, I'm one to see that if God wants it, then he'll give me a chance to take it and make it my own. Lately, the throne is looking awfully empty because the king ain't sat upon it in a long time. Please don't tempt me to take it. The rain will last for a long time. And I said that rhyme twice because I find nice thoughts come with a cool rain. So who's game to fool? Shame on you if it happens once, but if it's twice, then you better grab a pair of dice and keep rolling with it. It's so committed the way that I flow. It's a critic that you hear on the other side of the phone. But if you don't listen, you could decide that your home is your own castle and you make it nice the way you want it with the wife, maybe, or a couple kids. And they come in lately around the block growing so fast that you can't even believe that one day they found a block and spelt out the word cat. The next day, as a matter of fact, they want one of those. So you got to get that. And then they watch it as it grows and dies because that's the circle of life. Shout out one more time to the circus of life, the event I'm doing and preparing tonight and tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because it's weeks that go in to the planning before you can have a festival going on while you're manning the rigging and building the stage. Shit, every aspect and element that goes into the way that y'all play. I was there planning, standing with a fucking jackhammer in my hand and breaking new ground every way. Shit, you can check the pictures on my Facebook. That's where they lay. Man of 500,000 miles in the last decade or so, I would say.
Blowing up
Sign.
galaxies.
That's all I got for today.
That's all he's got, but you know he's in reserves, but he's not in the army. He's in the preserves, the sweetness, the hummingbird tasting life. You know that this man likes to live twice and three times, maybe a million lifetimes, but he's the same one. You know he's the i.e., the eternal son of the Father. Mike, sorry that your dad passed. I'm here to tell you this mic is a place where we can grieve and forgive and let go. You see the male forum, and you know females come too. Yeah, back with us to the garden where we are living in paradise from the start, friend. Yeah, all the endings come into this moment. Present moment is where I feel like I can own it. All my past mistakes, you see, forgiving and moving on. And it is trust that we are giving each other the best kind of life because we inspire from inside, like IE does a magic by the fire. Yeah, he's coming back in time this time around. Galaxy's descending, and he is got his apron on because he's in the kitchen cooking up the basics, and he is giving you the eternal mastery in his place because he lives with the trust of the superior one coming as him, i.e., and it feels so fun. You know, he is jumping into new realities, creating them from within. He's got all the time and the commitment, and that's where you begin to end on this note and passing it back to you, this bloke. Yeah, but he's not from Australia. He's from Greenfield, Mass. And he's putting maybe a coin in a bubble for you, and you will take off your mask because he's vaccinated. And you know that's okay too. We don't like anti vax thoughts, although it may be true. I'll tell you what, this man will show you a trick, blow your mind, and you will not feel like a parasite tick. Because, dear ones, is the Lyme disease. Maybe you can look it up on Google, please. Passing off to you, i.e., you know, this is the man who made rapping fun for me. You know, here we go, here we go. He's passing
I
it
try.
back.
I try. So what I'm gonna do here, uh, so a quick shout out to your rap about calling this the bubble. I did this trick recently at an event for Quest McCody, who's like a legend in Detroit hip hop and battle rap overall. Uh, definitely somebody worth looking into if you've never heard of him. But Quest McCody challenged me to a freestyle rap, and he asked me to do magic in the middle of it because he'd seen what I'd done before, and he was dope, and I appreciated him for that. So I did this trick, and he rapped about it and called it a bubble, and it was one of the strongest lines that's ever been said against me. It was insane. So I really had a blast with that. But anyways, this is the trick. This is one of those tricks that's changed my life and helped me travel all over the country and get me where I'm going. So I appreciate. I actually think that I was with you when I started really performing this one regularly, and we learned like every the elements that made it an incredible piece of magic. And so I appreciate you for that. And yeah, so we're gonna do it. Usually I would have somebody sign it, and they'd sign the balloon and they'd write a magic word or something, and I'd say, okay, can you imagine what it would look and sound like if we had the coin shaking around inside the balloon? And I'd shake it around for them, and obviously they couldn't hear it and all that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you visually what it would look like if I were to push that coin and make it just pop. I guess that's probably a good angle right there. Yeah, and just pop it right through. Okay, so ideally, we would give somebody a chance to check the coin or the balloon ahead of time, make sure it's, fair and solid. But, the camera only affords the angle that it does. So on three, we're going to push that coin right through. Okay. 1, 2. Do you know a magic word?
Shazam!
Shazam. But we're going to say it on three. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Shazam!
Shazam.
Whoa!
There it
Whoa!
goes. Right. And,
Whoa!
and that's one of those tricks that changed my life, and it helped me get where I'm going. And then of course, I've incorporated some card magic into it. So that's in there, obviously.
Wow, look at that.
Right. Yeah. I find that the reason I don't even like doing too much magic via Zoom is the in-person element is so important to what I like to do. Or at least I could have had my beautiful girlfriend join us, and she could have helped, but I didn't give her enough heads up as far as being on camera.
Well,
And
she can come
and
on. She can come on
and
if she feels,
yeah,
comfortable.
she's not going. I'm sure she was already doing stuff and had plans for her period of time right now, but
Okay,
that's okay.
that's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
On
yeah,
a future
let's
one.
go ahead. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, on a
I
future one
definitely
we'll do
see
that.
that this could be more of a regular, situation where we can, yeah, do some rapping, catch up, and
Yeah.
yeah, inspire the world in one way or another. I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's one time I can't remember exactly what it was. There's this freestyle on Venice Beach, In one part I really liked. There's just a pair of lines. I can't quite remember. It's something about here to touch lives and change minds. No,
Well, when you think
I don't
about
know.
it, let's
I'll
let's
think
come
about it.
let's come back to it.
I don't know.
Nice.
Whatever it was, blah 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 blah. You know, the entire plan is to inspire man to acquire land and make music. It'd literally be acquire land. They get the
I love
joke
it.
and it turns into a quiet land. They give me golf claps with the quiet hands.
Oh man. Yeah. Comedy
Anyways,
too,
yeah.
man. Yeah, you've always been very funny. We've always laughed a lot together. We've had some late
Yeah.
night conversations. You really helped. I rapped about it, but you really did help inspire me to do rapping and beatboxing, and really in a way set me on my own path to using my voice and being creative and kind of opening up new elements
Yeah.
and
Express yourself.
rhyming. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everything you can do. Yeah, and I've always appreciated. I know it's been a while really since we've been in touch, because I think it's hard when you're used to being heavily in touch with someone, like when you tour together, right? You see each other all the time. It's like, oh, I know completely what's going on in Adam's life. I'm with him all the time. And then you don't see somebody for a while, and it's easy to fall out of touch because you're just used to seeing them regularly. That when you don't see them regularly, it's like, well, what's a phone call? We've already had all the, but it is important to remember to reconnect and keep those things going strong over the years, because before you know it, the people, your buddies turn into fathers and husbands and bosses of their own world and doing all these different things, and you forget to ask, like, hey, how was your day, man? Like, what did you do? Like, how you been doing? So
Exactly.
I'm glad.
Like,
I appreciate you for reaching out.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like as we get more spread out, or develop new ties and roles in life, the friendship can kind of go unnoticed for a while. So I always want to reconnect with friends who feel important in my life, and you're one of those guys. And um, I would say we've been really supportive for each other, and
Yeah.
yeah, really positive friendship. And I feel as though, like, these are the real juice in life. Like, these are the things that really matter most to me are time with friends. I mean, sure, we can get so busy, but I never feel too busy where I can't have some time with friends. So
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative
Yeah, and
of
hey, we
you.
live in a world where there's no excuse. You can literally dial up. Like, I open up my laptop and talk to my best friend in 4K if I feel like it. If I feel like it, I can literally be here with as much visual detail as if I was right next to you. So, yeah, definitely. If there is one thing that people are still watching this and need a reminder of, it is stay in touch with the people you love. You know, and
Absolutely, for
and
sure.
love the people you stay in touch with, right? No,
Oh, yes,
yeah.
of
So
course. Yeah,
do those two
really
things.
really put the juice in every moment, I feel. Like, bring your all self to each moment. I feel like that's important, because time is so limited here, and yet we're
Yeah,
so we're like universal beings, but really the finality of life, it kind of sets in. And I know that you've recently lost your dad, and mine is still around, and I'm so thankful for that. And I know that could be really hard for you. So I also want to offer support. And if you've ever done any grief work or helped process that stuff, I feel like friendship is about being with each other during certain hard times, hardships, and just knowing that, like, life is kind of composting itself. It's going to become better. You'll have new fruits and new, and but is was that really difficult for you in those moments, or how would you, or how
yeah. I
can
mean,
you?
like I said, it's been the most difficult year of my life. It's like, but at the same time, it's been a difficulty that's been in my life in the years preceding his death too. That's why I'm proud of the fact that I've been a contributing member to the recovery program for a lot of people in my world and my own self, because when you kill yourself with drugs or alcohol, you're killing a lot of relationships, not just your own self with your own self, but there's a lot of people that rely on you and whether you know it or not, and the crimes of an alcoholic are usually crimes of omission, right? So the things that you're not there for. So there's a whole 20 years of my life right now that I feel like my dad's not going to be here, that he could have been if he had just made better choices in his life. So that's hard to process a lot of ways, but it also is a perspective thing, because it's hard, but I also understand it, and you can learn from it and take what you learn and pass it on, and hopefully strengthen the rest of the world around you. So like his sacrifice is not really lost if I transmute that energy the right way. And
Yeah, you
and
said
it
it, man.
sucks. Like it does. At the end of the day, it sucks, period, no matter what. So there's that. But
Yeah,
you
death
can do whatever you can
sucks.
do with it. It
Death
just sucks. Yeah, man, it
death
sucks
sucks,
when that
man.
happens. But it also is like, it is one of the most it is the most consistent part about life, right? Is death has to follow it. So it's like yeah, you just try to learn, make the most of all the time that we've got here. And and because as much as we get, okay, you might get 100 years on this world, right? But you're probably only going to get 80 years to be a parent, and you're only going to get 60 years to be a grandparent, right? And you're only going to have maybe 35 years to be a retired grandparent, um, to have, the freedom of time removed from work and everything. So, and by then your physical body won't be in the same, shape and ability that it was in for the last 40 years. So by then you've already ground yourself down to almost nothing. So, don't use work as an excuse, and don't use anything as an excuse to do the things you need to be doing, because pretty soon you won't be able to do them, and then it's over.
Yeah.
You only have so much time to be a son, right? Like how much time, and you can be alive 100 years, but I only got to be a son to my father for 30 years, right? That's it. I
Yeah.
didn't get more than that. I'll get to be a son to my mother for some longer period of time, and I get to be a son to the rest of the world for the rest of my life. But as far as like those individual relationships are concerned, you only get what you get.
Well, do you think that you might want to have kids?
I want to have kids. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got 4 nephews right now, and I love kids. I gotta be in the right place at the right time.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, I'm so grateful for you in my life. You even helped me videography my wedding on the spot. That was really, awesome of you. um,
That's what I do. I try.
nice. Yeah.
Right, to be of
Yeah.
service. To be
Yeah,
of
you do
service.
you do
That's
more. You do more than try. I know you show up really big. So, um how's how's everything else going?
I think things are going really well. I mean, as far as almost every conversation with me circles back to magic or rap in some way, because those are the two. When I when I was a kid, it was like I was going to be, you're watching David Blaine and Chris Angel, and then you're watching Eminem and Jay-Z and Lil Wayne and Drake and everybody, and like I want to do all that stuff. That's what I'm watching, and that's what I'd love to do. And then now I'm doing a lot of that. My battle with Charlie Clips, 1 million people watched that, and it was hosted by one of basically the biggest name in battle rap. And it was a legacy defining moment for me in my life, right? Like I was watching that, and that was one of the more recent battles. And then after that, I got the chance to battle with Quest too, out of his respect of challenging me. I think he's one of the only people that I would hands down say I'd not even close. He beat me. But I didn't get to rap all 3 rounds because it was ended short. And so there's that. But at the same time, it's like I'm stepping into a place where I'm really comfortable. And I always have been comfortable just on the spot doing whatever. But now I feel way more comfortable and experienced and solidified with where I'm at on everything. I'm doing a festival in New York that's coming up. And, they basically given me a bigger budget than anyone has ever offered me to do anything ever. So, that's going to be huge for me. I get to bring in a team of other performers with me, and everybody's getting fucking paid, right? Like nobody has to do, like I spent a lot of time grinding my way up to where I'm at, and I'm talking traveling across the country, doing events with no sleep, without fair compensation, without anything throughout all, for 10 years I've been fucking running myself into the ground doing that. And now that I have the chance to be on the other side of it, and I can help put my other friends that are where I was 7 years ago or 5 years ago, or even the ones that are beyond where I'm at in whatever measurable sense we're talking about, um, everyone can come and find a way to make some money and enjoy themselves and have it be a good experience all around. And being part of that process is dope. And I have some good friends to thank for that. My buddy Honeycomb introduced me to the people that are putting on the show, and that it seems like a whole network of great humans to work with. And I wouldn't have met them if it wasn't for my buddy John, who connected me with Gable, and I wouldn't have met Gable or John if it wasn't for my buddy Corey that got tagged in the magic video that went viral, that I would have never had if it wasn't for my buddy Bobby Lee that met me at a battle rap event, and he was looking out for me like at one of my first events, giving me advice from somebody who's a vet in the game and who's been doing it for a long time, to him forever. So shout out to him for caring enough to come over and talk to me, and then to videotape what I do and put it online and then share it in the group and watch it hit millions and millions of people, right? Like all that shit happened due to every little exchange. That happened because my buddy Nate asked me to be, the minister for his wedding and plan the bachelor party. So I planned it to go to Colorado, and that was when my first battle happened. All these things that just lined up just because, and they could have happened any other way, but they didn't. So I got to be thankful to the world for that.
Nice, man. I love how you connected all those dots.
Yeah. Lots of dots, bro. Lots of dots.
Lots of dots, lots of friends. Lots of tots, lots of babies, lots of ends. Lots of relationships over time. Depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You've always just embraced life and had a big open heart and trusted where, but always seemed to have good judgment on, where to go and who to, climbing up the ladder. I feel like that's always a thing. Like when I start something new, I always want to see who's at the top. How do I get to where they're at? And you've really clawed and worked your way to the point where now some of your videos are getting millions of views on YouTube. You're doing magic to some notable people. You're getting paid finally.
The most notable people in every arena. That's what I'm proud of at this moment. Like I can look back at my career and I can say, look, I have in every avenue that I've cared about, I have met, impressed, and enjoyed the company of the most incredible people in that arena, and they treat me as a peer and a friend, and it feels really good, right? Like I don't every element, Olympic from whether it's wrestling, which was my first real passion, to the top highest level of that, I've gone to meet and exchange conversation with and even like practice wrestling with the best in the world, right? Like the best, even at a young age, I had the fortune of meeting some Olympic champions before even doing so as an adult and going to the training center and all that. So it started there, and then it blossomed in with magic. I feel like I've reached tens of millions of people online, but I've reached a level where I'm just so happy with what I do, and I've had a chance to work with like pretty much all the people that I care to so far. I'm sure there's more on the list, but it's been incredible. I guess Sean Farquhar is one I'm missing from that list. And then with battle rap, I've rapped against Charlie Clips and Disaster and John the Don and people that would make, like Disaster and Charlie Clips are basically like two of the top three freestylers that I can think of. Like there's some others that are also belong there, but they're up there, and I got the chance to do that, and not only the chance, I seized the chance. I went and created the opportunity. I put a backpack on and took a Greyhound bus for 4 hours, and I went to LA with no money in my pocket at all and completely broke, showed up to a King of the Dot event and battled Disaster in California. I went to Smack, I battled Charlie Clips. Arsenal loved what I did. Goods in my verse, all these people that I have so much respect for that are like at the top of their own art forms have respected what I've done and shown love for. So I'm just like feeling, comfortable and satisfied with everything and happy to be at the point where I'm really seeing the returns on that as well. You know, it's finally all coming together. It's all like, all right, this is what you've been promising yourself for 10 years. For 10 years, you've been running around promising yourself that this would be the result. So it's good.
Well, you've probably put in over 10,000 hours into your craft for sure. So you've become a master in your own right of your own voice and your thoughts. And you've read hundreds and hundreds of books, and, those words are all spinning inside that noggin of yours. And, when you're open, where do these, can you talk about maybe your process a little bit on how and just I know it's through hard work and dedication. I get that, but the actual like when you're in the flow, can you give maybe some pointers or how is it
Yeah.
that you can be at that level in your is it your quick thinking? Is it what's up with
I
that?
I so it's kind of like this. The things we do often are the things we get good at, right? Or not necessarily good at, but we get solidified at, right? So if you're not practicing the right way, then you're probably going to solidify some bad techniques in there. And I just feel that I'm fortunate enough that I picked, like with rap, I am not fundamentally good in some ways, right? Like there are elements of hip hop that I'm missing almost entirely altogether, right? Because I refined exactly the thing that I did to a really sharp point, but I never expanded myself to have the kind of base that some performers have naturally, or they've trained themselves to have to a really high standard. So I know that I'm lacking in a lot of ways. But the things that I do very well, and I do a lot of, and I repeat it over and over in a way that I try to adapt and adjust to the things that are working well, right? So when something is not working well, I try to adjust so I'm not doing as much of that. Oh, sorry.
That's funny.
The sun was coming out. It was
It's so
making it
funny.
too
It's just
it was
like
making it too bright.
what you were talking about. Just like then you like completely contradicted yourself by like putting something in the way of the screen. It was just funny
Whoops.
how it worked out
Yeah.
that way. Anyways,
So
go
yeah,
on.
but yeah, no, so that's the process on it is I try to adapt to what's going on and
But
the feedback I'm getting.
what does that mean in practice? You try to adapt
So
to
so
what's
in
going
in
on.
in a
Take
practical sense, when I started battle rapping, for example, I'd been freestyle rapping for years. I'd done open mic events and I had this kind of like backpacky flow of like, like basically what you would expect a corny white boy to sound like if he was gonna freestyle for you. That's what you would expect to hear. I think was exactly what I sounded like, and I enjoyed that sound. It was, I was listening to guys like if you ever go back to listen to any of the old Idea or Jin battles back in the day, like I loved listening to that shit. But when I went and actually battled in front of like a battle crowd and it started to become part of that culture and understanding the elements that make a good battle rap round. I had to change a lot. You can't just freestyle. It's not about putting the words together, and it's not even necessarily about the double or triple entendres in a way as much as it is creating an impact right in the moment for everybody around you, right? And I think if you just it's embodied. If you watch my battle with disaster and then my battle with clips, in the battle with disaster, I'm in a rush to rap kind of fast about whatever I can think of a little bit sporadically. And I think I did a good job in the building because some of the things I was rapping about had just happened, or they were off camera, but right in the setting we were in, like recognizable. But on camera, it didn't translate as good as I would have liked. I watched it back, and there were some things that I was like, man, I could have done this differently or that differently. And then if you watch my battle with Charlie Clips, there are still maybe a moment or two that are like dry that I don't like, but for the most part, I was putting my words together better. It was more focused. I was targeted on the battle a little bit better. I was responding to the things that he was better or saying. I was like, my rebuttals were more succinct and to the point. And it wasn't taking me 2 or 3 or 4 bars to get to the point, to say what I was going to say. It wasn't as drawn out. And I always kind of thought that dense, layered style was good, but it's really not good for freestyling, for live, battles like that rely so heavily on the momentum and the energy of what's going on around you. Because if you lose the crowd and then you suddenly become in this mode of like self-awareness where you're like, shit, no one's reacting to what I'm saying, and then it's harder to come up with the next thing because you're like already, you're trying to fix what you just said, which you can't fix it, it's already over, but you're trying to go back to be like, nah, that was a dope punchline, you just missed the part where I meant this. And I'm like doing this and trying to come back to it, and it's like, things my brother's been telling me for 10 years, but you got to really live it and learn it, and that's the part where you can see and say, okay, I need to make my punchlines to the point and direct, and I need to say it fast. And if I slip up on it, let it go. Keep moving on to the next one. Come up with a bar. Don't explain it for the audience. If they care, they'll watch it again and they'll catch it. And if they don't care, they're not going to care, even if you try to make them care. So I did that. I mean, and then stick to what you know. I mean, the best punchline I ever said on camera, like according to the reactions, was about my fool's gold. It was about a necklace I was wearing. And with that battle with Charlie Clips, I said, I don't know what you called this, but it's actually a moonstone. Thought you were dropping gems, turned into fool's gold. And that right? That line makes you laugh.
Classic.
It's not incredibly complicated, but it was the perfect response to what he said, and it came out right, and that's what makes good hip hop in the battle environment. Coming up with something off the top that makes sense, it hits home, everyone gets it, and everybody feels like that moment of like, aha, and if you can make everybody's face do that. I learned to do it a bunch with Magic, and I'm just trying to apply a lot of those same lessons, a lot of the same theatric tips and pointers that could be incorporated into a Magic routine can also be applied to any type of hip hop performance. So
yeah. So what is that feeling of the faces? It's like surprise, or like disbelief, or like, oh, like
I mean,
just mind bending.
I felt like that was a good one. In general, like that's what I'm here for. That's what performers are here for, right? To make those faces appear. And that's what we try to do, and that's all I'm trying to do. That's all I've been really trying to do for 10 years. That's all. I just want to see people smiling like that, having a good time.
You work for the surprise face.
Yeah.
Surprise, smile, joy face.
Yeah. Yeah, they call it the stank face, or in battle rap they call it the jazz face.
The jazz face.
Yeah, there's a really popular woman in the battle rap scene, Jazz the rapper.
Got it.
Yep. She's notable for her reactions to fire lines.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
nice. So you've been really focused on that as of late, and for the last 10 years, you've been focused on becoming a battle rapper, or for a freestyle. What is the ultimate goal? To be just a legend in the battle rap world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of things. To get the recognition of your peers and the supporters of the culture is huge. That's something that obviously, again, as a performer, we aspire to reach that level, right? Always. And then also, I just want to be able to get paid to do what I love. I love freestyling with my friends and doing magic tricks. Like, this is, if you were to say, like, hey, Ethan, I'm having a party, will you come and do some magic and rap with my friends? I'd be like, yeah, that's what I would love to do. And if I can get people to start paying me thousands of dollars to do this, then yeah, that'd be sweet. That's what I want to do. So I'm getting to that point where it's like, I've been doing it, I've been successfully doing it for a long time, and enough people want me to do it with them or for them that they're willing to have me come out, and they're willing to pay me pretty well to do it. At every festival I've done since Electric Forest, not the last one, but the one before that, I've I've been putting right there in my sorry, my battery's at 10% on the laptop here. I've been putting right in there in the contracts. That's what we're doing, is I'm there to do freestyle rap and walk around magic. That's it. That's what my contract is for. I freestyle rap and walk around magic. That's what I do. And that's what they're paying me to do. So it's like that's my job, right? I get to do that. So I'm going to just try to keep doing it and doing it better, and, getting the right team together and getting the right network in place, which, I mean, I was doing magic for Pasquale Rotella's kids at Okeechobee, the last major festival before pandemic closed everything down. And, they invited me to come as their guest to the next EDC event, which I'm doing EDC Orlando with them, and he owns Insomniac Productions, which does 80% of the friggin' music festivals in the country, in the world, really. They're huge. They're like the single biggest name in music festivals, period. There's nobody bigger that I could be trying to reach out and to entertain, and they invited me to be their personal guest at the next one of their events. And it's just, I feel like I've created a lot of that momentum in every field. There's nobody bigger in the realm of battle rap. I've gone to King of the Dot and battled the best guy from King of the Dot on my first time going to King of the Dot event in his hometown. It was Disaster in LA on King of the Dot. Talk to Goalie personally. The battles, all the things that I'm doing are there. And then I go from King of the Dot to URL, and those are the two biggest leagues in the English speaking world for that. And the owners, the people that are in charge of all this are right there saying, yeah, you're doing the right thing.
Quite a resume, Ethan.
Right?
I mean, you've never ceased to amaze me how quickly and how sensationally you can move up into these new leagues and up level kind of continually. And really, what I love about it, all of it, is you're using your voice. Literally your voice, your mind, your heart to a certain extent. You're communicating this message that is, both funny and inspiring and, jazz face giving and, just like the wow factor of what you can deliver with your voice, I think is really important. And I feel like it falls into the Mantra Dad kind of a world where, really I started this podcast for these types of moments where we can, share our words and, allow those words to really kind of shift our reality. Have you ever, I mean, you obviously can attest the power of your own words to shifting your world, in your reality and what you experience on a day to day. The way you got into these rapping worlds is through your voice and your intention of wanting to be the best. And I feel as though that drive that you have is part of what makes you who you are, and it's like that will to succeed and to prosper and kind of hack the code on doing the things that you really love and being able to support yourself financially. You really set a bar there for and I feel like you're a great teacher for me, and how one, if you really determine the thing that you want and you can actually see it, it's kind of like tangible in your mind, going after it in the pursuit of it is so joyful. When you can really know that what you're doing is what you want to be doing.
Do what you want to do. And as my laptop is going to die pretty soon, so I as a closing quick story, I think you'll get a kick out of this. At the last IAPA event, I ended up going out and doing magic to this guy named Greg, who he was really cool, and he invited me and my friend Corey, who was also doing magic with me, to this party that they were throwing on the top floor of the Hyatt. They had rented out the top and the second to top floor just to make sure that no one would complain about the noise for this huge private party they were throwing. So they had us up there doing magic, And I was doing magic all night and getting everyone's like business cards and everything. And then he also made sure at the end when I went home, he like made it a point to raise up this big glass goblet thing and make everyone put money in it. So I made like $150 off tips in that like 10 minutes that he passed it around. And then but I left with, you know, not only his business card, who he was the guy that was on the cover of the IAPA magazine that year. Like he was the main focus. His name's Greg Close. He was a big deal in Australia. But the event we were doing was for Ripley's and Disney. We're throwing it. And so I got, you know, the vice president of Disney. I have his business card, and we have an open text communication, you know, for whenever I go down to Orlando type thing. And all these different connections that just got made off believing myself and stepping forward and keep doing the thing. You know, Sean Farquhar said it really well. He said, I might not ever become a millionaire, but I sure will live like one. And it's true. I don't think I could live the way I've lived. If you could give somebody else $1 million to live the way I lived, and they wouldn't pull it off. Or at least I believe.
Very well said, Ethan. Thank you so much for your life as a gift to this world, and thanks for joining on the podcast today. This was really inspiring and a fun episode for me to catch up with my brother Ethan, i.e. the magician. I'm gonna link some of your. What would you like to link in the comments section?
Well, my website is iethemagician.com, and on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you can just search for IE the Magician. I have channels on everything pretty much. Content's really easy to find, and if you are on social media, you can just search for the hashtag magic with a message or rap with reason. Either one of those, and my videos will pop up. So, you know, I'm not too worried about it. Website's probably fine. Everyone can find everything through that.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Ethan, and go charge your laptop up, and we can do this all over again. This was so exciting for me. I love talking with you and catching up. And if you like this content on Mantra Dad, just subscribe, like, and follow me on YouTube.
Share it with your mama.
Excellent, Ethan. Have a great day, my brother.
Yep. I appreciate you, Adam. Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
Oh, and tell the family I said hi.
Will do.
Yes, sir.